that's the story of my first video. And I want to now explain a bit of the beginning of those and some of the choices that I made along the way that were really crucial to ensuring that I started off with a bit of success, right? First of all, I realized, okay, up here, my mic was bad. Now I could try and brute force it with that microphone, with that crappy headset, but $40 at the time was within reach of me to be able to get a new microphone. And so I decided that was the single biggest financial investment I could make at the time that would result in a massive upgrade, right? It's not about getting that 5090 PC, that wouldn't have helped. It's not about getting a crazy camera, it wouldn't have helped. But at the time, I realized that mic, that $40 thing was the difference between this looking like slop and being very good, right? So that was something that I saved up for and bought. Editing was very bad. In fact, I wouldn't even say bad. I didn't even know how to edit. So I needed to learn. And I literally just, every single effect or edit that I wanted to do, I pulled up a YouTube guide on like another tab, and I would constantly just go between, okay, I need to do this, do this. You know, it is crucial that when you need to learn something, you just do it. Don't sit arm and ah about like, okay, I don't know, like if I can learn, or if I should learn before I film the video. You need to just do it. Like, because the more that you sit around and twiddle your thumbs about if you should do it this way, you should do it that way, just fucking make the video. Start editing it. It's so frustrating because I have so many friends and so many people that wanted to get into it, and this is where they fall because they're like, I need to make sure everything's perfect before I start. I really don't feel confident. You know, the worst thing you can do is do that. So just start. Okay, ADHD, doesn't matter. Get the ADHD involved, bro. Get it helping. You pick this one, you pick this one, you focus on the task that's right in front of you, focus on what's interesting, but start working on that video. Another one, I knew the extent of my abilities, right? Like when I was talking about the thumbnails, talking about the editing, right? I knew that I was shit at this. I was complete dog shit. And I didn't try to make a video, and I didn't try to make a thumbnail that I couldn't make. Like you have to be really introspective and understand your current abilities and where you're at, and figure out videos that you can make within that. You can't make a Ludwig video right away. You can't make like, you know, let's say you're passionate about board games, like the board game night that we do with like 15 cameras. You can't do that right away, right? You need to understand your immediate abilities and how to use those to your strengths and not let them hold you back, all right? Number 4, okay. I recognized that me as a creator, I have no pull when I start at 0. My name carries literally 0 weight. I have nothing to offer the world. So I leveraged the pre-existing popularity of Black Butler and a pre-existing fan base at the time to kind of get my way in the door, right? Because at the time on YouTube, anime was still obviously very, very popular, but there was nobody really making content for it outside of AMVs, abridges, and reviews. Those are the only type of anime content that existed. And so I decided to combine a different genre of YouTube with anime, which is something that I was passionate about at the time, right? And that was enough and novel enough to really keep the audience and the momentum going. So you need to think about this kind of stuff about, like, if you are, you know, trying to do a genre that's already been done, or you're trying to do a style of content that's already been done, what can you bring to it? What can you do? How can you leverage that into growing? 5, okay, another one. I learned creative ways to promote my content. Now, obviously, I gave you some strategies that would have worked 11 years ago if you happen to do a mean Sebastian impression. But nowadays, you know, the game has changed. You know, TikTok, Instagram, whatever platform is in the future, you will need to get creative with how you promote your video. Whether that means the video itself is a crazy promotion for something, but you need to think outside of the box to promote this, because everyone is trying to upload. And most people are so lazy that they just throw something on this platform and hope the algorithm does it. You need to do it. You need to figure out the best way possible to get this video to blow up. You need to put it in the best possible position for it to do well, right? And you know, you can hope that these algorithms will take the you know, hold of it and they'll promote it, and they might, but they probably won't. So you need to figure out how you can best put it in position for possible. It's harder for now, for sure. Everyone's thinking the same thing, which is why somebody who has really creative thinking or creative content can really easily break out. And, you know, there are creators that have proved that you can literally start from nothing and blow up constantly. You know, if you ever look at like Anthpo's stuff, he's constantly making new accounts that blow up. Yes, he has the means and the knowledge, but you can start from zero. It is very, very possible. And if you're sitting here saying, nah, it's too hard now, nah, there's no way I can do it, well then great, you let the people who actually do have the motivation to go ahead and get that. Okay, so let's the next lesson that I learned, again, this is all just from that one story. These are considerations and things that I thought of. The moment that I saw my opportunity to grow, aka the first video blowing up, straight gas on the pedal. I did not stop. Like, the moment I had a video that did well, it was when I went into overdrive. Like, I sacrificed like every other free moment I had. I was in college at the time, right? So I still had basically a full-time responsibility to do something else, but I pretty much spent every single other moment on this. And I didn't just like twiddle my thumbs thinking of, I don't know if I can make something as good as the first one. I just made something. It performed worse than my first video, and that's fine, because you just need to make stuff, and you need to keep making stuff. And then finally, the last lesson I learned was I realized when a video format or a video concept was not repeatable. I didn't want to prank minimum wage workers, like I said, so I just mixed it up. I realized by making one simple change to the video, it now becomes a much more repeatable video formula, because people want, at the time, there are a lot of fans that really wanted to be called by me doing a Sebastian impression. And look, I look back very fondly on that era, and it sounds kind of crazy, but just doing that one change made the video so much more repeatable, not only for like ease of making the content, but also like ethically as well, which, obviously W ethics, we like that. So, that's the mindset you need, right? You need to recognize your flaws. You need, in your own process, and flaws in what you can and can't do, and you need to think about all this stuff, okay? You need to know your shortcomings. It requires you to be awfully honest and introspective to yourself when you're creating content, because you are putting so much of yourself out there, and if you can't genuinely analyze what you're doing, then you're not gonna grow. And that's like true in a lot of things in life. So a lot of this stuff that we're talking about here is also extremely applicable in your everyday life. So even if it doesn't work out for you, don't worry about it. Hopefully you've learned a couple of amazing things. So don't worry too much about that. Okay. And I say this because there is like a lot that you need to recognize as a person. Like, am I interesting? Can I keep my friends' attention when telling a story or teaching them about something? If I can't, why would strangers on the internet want to listen to me? I know it sounds dumb, but that very same ability to be able to recount a story in a funny way to your friends is the exact same skill that you will need when you're a content creator. Not necessarily telling stories, but the ability to structure a story, kind of give information in a way that is engaging, and keep people kind of engaged with the entirety of the story. And like, if your friends don't want to listen to you, why would random people on the internet want to? So like, these kind of storytelling skills and ability to converse and be personable are really, really important. And even if you learn these skills by doing YouTube, which is fine, they will help you in the real life, even if you don't end up being a successful YouTuber, which is great as well. That's really helpful. And because truthfully, that's what content creators do. It doesn't matter what genre, what content you do, you are there to engage people with a story. A wacky weekend is telling a story, and an educational like Tom Scott video is telling you a story, and a Ludwig video is telling you a story. The characters and the settings are always different, but they're all presenting a story to you. And that is a valuable skill in life, not just content creation. So really, really think about that.